morning. Today we're going to do another great practice that will help you with your jiu-jitsu, whether it's recovery, whether you're just trying to get more flexible in your rolls and drilling. So today we'll kind of just go through some easy movements, and I'll give you some modifications in case you have some injuries that you're thinking about. So let's go ahead and start in turtle pose. So we're just really bringing those hips back and reaching those arms out. You can stay here for a couple breaths. If you feel like it, you can bend those elbows and bring your hands behind the back of your head. If this feels like it's just too much, then you can just keep your arms back straight to the mat. Really feeling the body relax. Couple more breaths. Good. When you're ready, let's windshield wipe your feet to the right. And then you're going to sit back and stretch a little bit more. Your breaths here. And switch to the other side. Good. Let's come back to center. Let's go ahead and just roll your spine forward to tabletop. Good. Exhale, drop the head down, tailbone down. Stay here for a couple breaths. Good. Then tailbone up. Stay here for a couple breaths. Good. And come back to center. Just relax the spine. Think about spreading your hands out nice and wide. So when we get wrist locked, a lot of times they're really effective if your wrists are super tight. So the more that we can kind of incorporate loosening them up, creating flexibility in our wrists, in our practice in general, will definitely help when we're on the mat with those joint locks. So from here, let's just go ahead and start circling. And, this is loosening up my hips, my knees, my shoulders, my wrists, all those places that get super tight. A lot of wear and tear when you're rolling. So the more that we can create, movement in these, synovial fluid, the healthier those joints will be. In reverse. Good. Moving. You can add any extra movement that kind of feels good with it. Good. Let's come back to center. Last little movement here on hands and knees is I just kind of want you to think of like a jump rope movement. Moving those ribs up, side, down, and up. And reverse. Good, let's come back to center here. We're gonna go ahead and extend that left leg out. And extend the right arm. Working on that spinal balance using your core. Exhale, bring knee to elbow and extend it out. Let's do that a couple more times. Really activating the core and moving the spine. Creating a flexible spine is so important for training. Helps, keep your body healthy even through the hardest days. Good, hold here. Make sure that hip stays down, pointed towards the mat. Bring your right arm down. You're gonna take your left leg out to the side like a karate kick. Try to remember not to lean to the side, but right over that hip. And then lower that left leg. Inhale, rise with those arms. Good, 2 choices for your arms. You can either take your hands behind your head or arms out to the side like a T. You're gonna inhale, take your left hand to the left leg and lean sideways. And so it's kind of a nice lateral movement for your spine. Keeps your spine supple. So when you're rolling, you're able to move in all directions and have strength as well. Good, come back to center and then go to the other side. You can create a fist to protect your wrist and then just opening up the left side. Good, back to center. One more time, other side. And back to center, other side last time. Good, and back to center. Nice job, you guys. So from here, let's go ahead and just bring those hands forward, plank hands, okay? Keeping that leg right where it's at to the side. Just gonna take your right hand and you're gonna go underneath to reach for that left leg. So I'm rolling onto that right side. My left hand can either stay by the face or you can come more yourself, right, to create more flexibility in that shoulder or arm bar. Extend that arm out. Whatever feels good for you, whatever you're working on. This just helps our spine be supple and twisting and in different various positions when we're on the mat. Stay here just for a few more breaths. Slowly start to unwind. Back to plank hands. And then from here, make sure your hips are above your knees, right? And you're just going to walk your arms forward to a puppy pose. If you want to add the extra stretch, you can always bend those elbows, right? And take the hands behind your head. Whatever feels good for you. Find the breath. Good, bringing it up. Back to plank hands. I always like to work in this position a little bit because it reminds me of knee on belly, right? Trying to create not only strength, but flexibility and movement. From here, you're going to take your left foot on the outside of your left hand, and you're going to slide that right leg back. So we can deepen up this lizard lunge here. Good. Exhale. Bring it back. A little stretch in that hamstring. And inhale forward. Exhale back. And forward. Good. If you want to stay here and add that extra stretch, remember we can reach back, grab the foot. If you have your jiu-jitsu belt, that's always a nice, way of having a little extra help. You can't quite reach this foot, right? And then try not to let this shoulder misalign, but you're really activating all the way through that right shoulder, right? Lifting up. Good, gently release. So take that right leg across, and we're either sitting back behind, right, this right leg, your calf, and then coming forward. If that feels okay. Or if that's a little deep, you can keep your hands here, and we can kind of do that combat squat, right? So you're just kind of moving those hips around, really keeping those hips mobile and flexible. So when we're rolling, it won't cramp up. It's easier to move around your opponent, right? Instead of always getting stuck. Your hip cramps up or it's too tight. Good. So we're gonna go ahead and straighten that right leg. Reach out, lift. Okay. Keeping your right arm down. Top arm comes to the ceiling. Really keeping this bottom arm active. Going into side plank, moving this left leg back. If this is too much, remember we can modify by bringing that right knee down, or we can just keep that leg straight. And also add the variation, right, of grabbing that toe and extending. Bring that arm down, going into plank. Give me down dog. And keep the knees bent and kind of wag your tail. Good. From here, you're going to lift your heels, roll your spine to plank. And then exhale, push back to down dog. Do that a few times. Lift those heels, roll all the way through to plank. Good, and then bring it back. One more. Lift all the way up, plank, and then bringing it down. Find your breath. Good, from here, we're going to do a few baby cobras. So you're just going to inhale, lift. And then exhale, relax. We're going to do that a few times. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. Last one, we're going to hold. Inhale, lift and hold. Breathe. Good. Exhale, relax. Now push up back to that plank pose. And then moving downward dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Let's walk the dog. So you can bend one knee, straighten the other. Then move into that hip and then switch. Kind of resetting your spine, right? Resetting the body. Just a couple more. Straighten those legs. Bend, really feel your spine extend. And let's lower back to the knees. And we're going to go to that other side. Okay, so you're going to extend the right leg out, then your left arm. You're going to curl in and extend. Curl in. Good, one more. Make sure that hip is rolled down. Lower that left arm. Kick your right leg to the side. Lower it down. Inhale, rise. Good, breathe. Either hands behind your head or out to the side. Let's go ahead and lean over to your right. Good, back to center. Other side, you can make that fist to protect your wrist. Good, back to center. Last time to the other side. And back to center. Last time, other side. Good, let's come back to center. Bring those arms forward, plank hands. Remember your wrists, right? We're trying to get those wrists nice and supple so then wrist locks won't be as effective, right? The more we can kind of create that flexibility. Staying here. So remember, you're going to take your left arm now and reaching for this right leg. I kind of gently, keeping my spine long, right? Not like cramping it, but trying to stay nice and elongated here. You're trying to reach your left hand to that right leg. So whether it's a hip, it's the knee, the calf, the foot, this arm can stay by the face to kind of either create support, right? Practicing our frames maybe, or, just bracing ourselves. You can bring it behind, right? It's Kimura. Just trying to keep those shoulders nice and open and supple. Or you can do your arm bar over. Whatever feels best for you. And what did you train that day? What feels kind of sore, needs attention? And I think the more that we can do that, the less injuries we'll be dealing with, and we can prevent a lot more. A few more breaths. Good, let's slowly unwind. Coming back to plank hands. And then let's walk it forward. Giving me that puppy pose. Staying here for a few breaths. Remember, if you want to bend those elbows, and take your hands behind your head, you can. Good, gently relax. Swap your hands back to plank pose. Plank hands. You're going to take your right leg forward, right on the outside, right? And then bring that back leg back. So you get a nice deep lizard lunge. You want to tilt your right leg out just to the side a little bit, opening the hip a little more. Hip flexibility is so important in jiu-jitsu, not only just for movement, but for recovery when we're done. Good, let's bring it back. Exhale. And then bringing it forward. And bring it back. Last time, bringing it forward, hold. If you want to add that extra, right, we're going to bend that back leg. And I'm trying to really open that top shoulder, right? Trying to keep this all in alignment so no joint is taking your extra weight, right? Everything's evenly distributed with your weight. Good. When you're ready to release, you're going to take that leg across, right? Dropping it down. And then you can either come back just to combat base, if that's where we feel good. And we're just kind of moving our hips around. Or if you want to come all the way back, right? Creating that movement helps us get up, posture up. Good. Last one, bringing it forward. Straighten that back leg. And then lift up. Bringing that top arm up. Right, and we're just thinking about alignment here. So I don't fall into the shoulder, right? I'm really reaching. Good. You can either lower that left knee down or bring your right leg back. Side plank. Remember, we can grab the toes. Add the extra element. Good. Bring it back. Plank. Push back down. Down dog. Stay here for a moment. Good, we're gonna lift those heels, start to roll to plank. Then back to down dog. All the way up, rolling to plank. Push to down dog. Last one. Lift those heels and roll. And then bringing it down. So we're going to go into skydiver, but we're going to break it down in a couple of parts first. So arms are going to come behind you. And we're going to start with your upper body first. So relaxing the lower. You're just going to inhale, lift. And then exhale, relax. Inhale, lift. And relax. Inhale, lift and hold. Stay breathing. Good, and relax. So you have a choice on this one. You can either keep your arms out to the side, or if you need your spine to kind of support it, you can take your forehand to your hands. And you're just gonna inhale, lift those the lower body. And then you're gonna relax. And inhale, lift the lower body again. And relax, last one. Inhale, lift and hold. And gently relax. Let's do full skydiver. Inhale, lift and hold for a few breaths here. Exhale, relax. Let's push back, up, plank, then to down dog. And those knees really extend. You can walk your feet a little closer to your hands. Then we can get that good deep bend. Okay, we're gonna get some movements here. So you're just gonna kick up and land. Kick up and land. If you need to bring your feet even a little closer, go ahead. Kick up. Kick up. Good. Last time, we're going to kick up and bring those feet forward towards those hands and land in the squat. Okay? So we're going to come up, landing in that squat. Hands here. Find your breath. Good. When you're ready, hands are going to come to the mat. You're going to straighten those legs. Forward fold here for a breath. And bend those knees and come back down for squat. Finding your breath here. Good. Hands down, straighten your legs. Stay here for a moment. Good. Come back down to squat. Last time. Good. From here, we're either going to do a nice jump and turn, or if you feel like you're not ready for that quite yet, we can be in this nice squat and then just reach up nice and tall, turn, and bring it back down to squat. Okay? So wherever we're at, remember, modified just means smart practice, so then we can keep moving and keep going forward on our journey. Good. So once you come here, let's walk it out to plank. Lower it down. We're going to bend those knees. Reaching back to try and ground those ankles. Press the ankles into the hands. Since we're always in that flex position in jiu-jitsu, it's really important that we start to create more back bends in our practice. Relax. Good. Pushing back up. Plank. And down dog. Kind of move side to side here, whatever feels good. Good. When you're ready, let's jump forward. Squat. Find your balance, find your breath. Good. Jump squat. Coming down. So either walk or jump. Walk it out. Getting the heart rate up a little bit. Warming the body up from the inside out. Bring it down. Good. Grabbing for those ankles again. Kicking those ankles into the hands. Good, relax. Hands back under the shoulders. Push up. Plank. Down dog. Stay here in your down dog for a couple breaths. Good. You're going to look between your hands. Let's take your right leg forward between those. Nice deep lunge here. Next, let's just lower that left heel and lift your left arm up. Warrior two. Really try to think about keeping those hips open. I say let's do palms up to kind of open those shoulders since we're always rolled forward in jiu-jitsu. Try to do some of the opposite movements that your body needs to do in your practice of yoga. Making sure that this back leg is nice and straight. The back heel is grounded. You can really work the front leg more. Trying to get the quad parallel to the floor. This time, let's lean it back. So reaching back to the back leg. Really lean it forward. And breathe. Very nice, you guys. Let's come back. Find your breath. Good, let's bring this right forearm down and left arm angled. If you want to bring your right hand to the floor, you can. Just make sure if you're here, you're not falling into that shoulder, right? It's nice and extended all the way through the spine. Now coming back to center here. Turn forward towards that right leg. Bring those hands down. Right leg back. Downward dog. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Let's walk your dog. And both knees, really extending your spine. Good. Now looking between your hands again. You're going to bring this left leg forward. Okay. You're going to lower the right heel to the mat. Inhale, let's lift the left arm. Good. And this time we're doing palms up, just so we can start to open the chest, right? Because we're always rolled forward, whether it's guard, right? We're trying to always, move the spine in all directions. I always think of like if you're trying to pass the guard and you're getting guard by the bottom person, they stretch you out. If you can find balance here and flexibility, you can have a lot better game, right? Keeping that back leg straight. Let's bring the right arm down, front arm up. Good. Inhale, bring it back. Hold your breath. And forward. Lengthening all the way over. Or bringing that left hand to the mat. And still keeping this left arm, shoulder active. Nice job, you guys. Stay with it. Coming back to center. This time, let's straighten that leg. And then we're gonna just rotate that left foot forward. So hands can go on hips. And we're just gonna bow forward. Nice stretch here in the center. Stretching our hamstrings. They tend to get pulled a lot when we're rolling, especially if they're not flexible and supple. Just different ranges of motion. Good, you're gonna inhale halfway up. Take your left hand in the center, right arm up. Just creating twist in my spine. Think about in our movements and our drilling, we're always put in different dimensions with our spine. Your body's going two different directions sometimes, right? Good, bring the right hand down, other hand up. And if you're training your body to be doing that in its yoga practice, it won't be such a shock when you're rolling, you're competing, drilling. Your body will be ready for this movement. Good, let's bring that arm down. So we're gonna start to bring the heels in a little bit, bend your knees. And we're gonna do a few of these to kind of get acclimated, right? So I want you to lean to your right side. And then we're gonna lean to your left. And then we're gonna lean to the right. And then lean to the left. Good. Let's just do this a few more times and then we'll hold. And you go to where your knees feel stable, right? We don't want to push this. We can keep practicing every day and get better. Good. Let's go ahead and lean to the left and hold. So if you want to, bring a hand behind, you can flatten that heel. Trying to keep that right leg or opposite leg straight. Breathe. Good, let's go to the other side. Each side might feel a little different, and that's okay. It's like when we drill, there's always one side that's a little bit more familiar, a little bit more acclimated, can adjust better. But that's why we're trying to do a practice where each side gets to engage, adding symmetrical movement. Just a couple more breaths. Good, coming back to center. Stretch through the middle one more time. Good. Turn your left foot towards the top of your mat, walking those arms over. Left foot back for downward dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Good, if you need to walk your feet forward a little bit, we're gonna kind of bend those knees and jump squat forward. Hold your squat. Find your balance. Good, bringing those hands down, forward fold for me. Hang here for a breath. You're gonna take your fingertips in the folds of your arms and let your upper body just hang. Good, gently, let's roll it up one vertebrae at a time. And then bring those arms up. To heart. Let's work on our balance today. So let's ground your left side. And when you're grounding your left side, you're not letting the hip poke out, right? So we're trying to think about length. So really getting those ribs up off your hips. And then we're going to lift the right knee. And the right hand's going to grab that right knee. And I really think about pulling those shoulders back, opening the chest. And then I'm lifting the left arm. Finding the balance, finding the core. And it's a lot about finding the length, I think, not crunching down, because we always do that anyways, and we're in that position when we're on the mat. So here's now the time to think about lengthening the spine. Just a couple more breaths, and then we're going to transition. Good. Now, two options. You can either bring your hand to heart, let go of your right leg, and you're going to start to extend that right leg back. And you can either extend the arms back. I'm flexing my foot on this variation. You can bring those arms forward. So whatever feels best. If you need a little support, you can lower that leg, find your balance, and then extend it back. So whatever feels best for you. Start to lower that right leg back now. Bringing those arms above your head and sink into this crescent lunge. Breathe. You guys are doing awesome. Good Sunday morning practice. Opening up the chest. Making sure those chests don't kind of collapse on each other, right? But we're opening. Good. When you're ready, let's bring those arms down. Right to the side, left leg back, downward dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Good. Bend those knees. Let's jump it forward. Squat. Find your breath. Find your balance. Good. Hands on the mat. Let's straighten those legs. Good. Let's walk it up. You can always use your hands to support that spine, especially if you've been kind of recovering from a back injury. Inhale, bring those arms up. That's your heart. Good. Going to your other side. So balancing, right? So not letting that hip poke out. Think about really lengthening up through the core. Lift that left leg. And then when you're ready, you can reach with the right arm. Good, let's start to transition, right? So extending that lifted leg back, and either arms are extended behind, or they're reaching forward. Remember, if you need to set your foot down in between transitioning, go ahead. Start to lower that back leg, bending the front. The back heel is lifted. Hold for a couple of breaths. Really trying to open the hips and activate the glutes. Sometimes those glutes get really locked up, and that locks up your back and creates immobility. Bring those hands down. Right leg back, downward dog. Good, let's jump squat, forward, hold. Kind of move around, see how it feels. Good, going into crow, one of my favorite, right? So think about again with your hands, if we've got sore wrists, bring those hands open, are really important. And then you're bringing those knees forward, and then lift. Lifting those little toes. Try not to tuck the chin. Good, and bring it down, squat. Find your breath. Good, let's go ahead and roll ourselves down to our sit bones. Sitting back, no hands. We're gonna do a little bit of core work. So your feet can either be down if we have sensitive backs, right? So if you're here, we wanna think about lengthening, right? That's what's gonna keep your spine happy. And sometimes if we need to bend our knees and keep our feet down, that's okay. So from here, you're just gonna come down and up, right? So like if we're sitting in, a guard, an open guard, right? We're trying to sit up and maneuver and defend. This is kind of what we need to think about, is activating that core to support the back. So then your back's not here and you're trying to create strength, you've got here and you're still able to move and keep integrity in your movement. Good. Now from here, keep that nice 45-degree angle in the top of the heart of your body, and we're just gonna twist to the left, and then twist to the right, twist to the left, and twist to the right. One more time to the left, and one more time to the right. Right, so I always think about the movement we're gonna need to kind of track our partner, right? Track where the opponent's moving. And so I'm thinking about trying to get those, movements in my body kind of familiar, okay? So this one you'll have two options, either hands behind or hands free and floating, right? So from here, lifting those feet, you're gonna extend, and then let's practice that triangle, right? It's a lot of flexibility in this movement, in the submission, so you're just trying to get that core engaged. Good, couple more. And last one. Good, gently release. Let's go ahead and come down. We're gonna roll down to your spine. Knees to chest for a moment. Good, and so we'll have two choices depending where your back is today. So you're either gonna have your legs straight, or you can have your knees bent. And you're just gonna exhale, tilt your knees to one side, and then bringing it back to center. Or if you feel comfortable, you're doing straight leg. And then back to center. So wherever you're at, we're just gonna do a few of these. Coming to one side. Utilize the core to come up. And then to the other side. Up. To the other side. Stay here, relax. Turn your head to the opposite side. Good, coming back to center. This kind of helps when someone's trying to pass your guard, right? You can kind of engage the core and create that flexibility. And then to the other side. And turn to the opposite. And come back to center. Good job. Bring those feet down. So we're going to go into a little bit of bridge movement. This is our warm-ups, creating not only a little bit of a back bend with flexibility, but a little bit of a spinal twist. So you're just going to lift up the bridge, twist that opposite arm over, and then come back down. And other side. And come back down. Side. Come back down. And last one here. And come back down. Good. 2 options on this, one of our last poses here. So we can either just do happy baby, right, where you're grabbing the bottoms of your feet, relaxing. It's like our almost upside down guard, right? Or if you feel like going just a little bit different today, a little bit further, you can start to bring your feet all the way over and see if you can go all the way over into reverse guard, right, or upside down guard. So trying to get your feet to touch the floor above your head there. If not, you can keep your knees bent and take your hands on the lower back. Stay here for a few breaths wherever you feel is comfortable for you today. Be careful with the neck. Once you have weight on your neck, you do not want to look around. Keep your neck safe and happy. The more flexible your neck is, we're going to avoid injuries, right, or strains. Focus on the breathing. You guys are doing really good. It's a great way to start your day. Start your jiu-jitsu, right? Giving your body kind of a hello introduction. This is what we're doing. Good. When you're ready, let's start to release. Knees to chest. Give them a great big hug. Good. Keep your right knee bent and kind of bring it towards that armpit. Straighten the left. Good. And bring that left knee back in. Straighten the right. Extend. Stay here for a few breaths. Good. When you're ready, let's just straighten that left leg, getting ready for your Shavasana. The relaxation pose is just a few minutes of allowing the practice that we did to kind of settle into the body and for it to kind of relax and heal itself. Feel the body get heavy. Try to relax your jaw. Start to move back into your toes and your fingers. Start to deepen your breath. Bring your mind back to the present moment. When you're ready, let's roll over to your right side. Take a breath here. And push on up. Find your center, just find your breath again. Thank you so much for sharing your most valuable asset with us, your time. And we create these programs just because we want you guys to be healthy on the mat. And yoga is not only great for on the mat, but off the mat. And just thinking about what we, how hard we train our bodies and what we do, we have to think about the healing aspect as well. So for every, curl position on the spine, trying to create movement that opens the spine and opens the heart, the chest, right? Creates better jiu-jitsu movement, more flexibility. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.